Hey everyone, Cinema Buffs here bringing you our review of Allied. Allied is this new World War II drama directed by Robert Zemeckis starring Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard. And in this movie, Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard, they're these spies in World War II who do this mission together and fall in love. And years later, it's revealed that Marion Cotillard may possibly be a spy. So it's building up to this mystery thriller with Brad Pitt trying to find out if this wife is really a spy or not. So, very plot-heavy movie. Nate, what did you think about the plot execution?
I really enjoyed the plot execution of this, and that's because it took its time, but in a good way, because I was interested. I was invested. This mystery is revealed in the trailer that, like, is she a spy or is she not a spy? But you don't realize this till about halfway through the movie, and I was still fully engaged throughout this movie, even up until that, like, okay, now he has a decision to make, now he has to sort of figure this out. I think above all else, it's a love story, and it's a love between Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard. Did I get it? No, either way. It's a love story between these two characters, and I think that's the core of this, and I think it was achieved very gracefully, and it was very well done. What do you think?
Yeah, this movie definitely wasn't what I expected it to be. I mean, just from the trailer, you get the feeling that it's going to be like this kind of like mystery suspense thriller, and it eventually becomes that towards like the latter half. But yes, the first half of this movie is a love story.
Yeah.
So with the plot, it wasn't what I was expecting. So it was a little disappointing, but at the same time, I wasn't upset with what I got. I have a few pacing issues with the first half.
Really?
Yeah, because sometimes there's like, there's the mission with them that got the action moving. I thought that was going to, when the action story and the, suspense was going to begin, but then it went into the love story after that. So it got me going, and then it just slowed down a little too long before it got picking up again.
Okay. See, I thought the first half's pacing was some of my favorites. I thought it got a little dumbed down in the third act a little bit. I thought the pacing, it slowed down a little bit where he's trying to figure it out.
I disagree about the pacing of the third act. I thought that it tightened it up pretty well. It wasn't one of these movies that, had like a 20-minute ending or anything like that.
No.
I think that they nipped it in the bud, and the ending itself, I think, was a saving grace for me.
A movie like this depends a lot on the ending, and although the ending could come across to some as safe, it was still very well done, and I left that theater feeling a sense of closure. What did you think of the acting?
Yeah, I thought that the acting was pretty good throughout. I mean, Brad Pitt, he's turned into one of the more consistent actors. I thought that he wore this character very well, just being kind of pulled in different directions.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie didn't have like the pull me back and forth effect that I kind of wanted out of a mystery.
Okay.
But there wasn't just enough evidence for both sides to support and leave enough doubt, enough mystery.
Yeah.
And Brad Pitt really carries it. And Marion Cotillard, I mean, she's just pretty much awesome in everything she is, and so this movie's no exception.
Totally. She is, I think, one of the more, not only beautiful, but just, she is very consistent with her acting. She is so good in this movie, and she's very charming, which means she wins over not only Brad Pitt, but she wins over the audience.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt, I think, was a little subdued, at least in the first half. He was a pretty subdued, but I think that plays into his character, like you said. I think that he doesn't like parties. He doesn't like being social. That's just who he is. He's sort of a quieter guy. But also, the director, Robert Zemeckis, really left it up to the actors for us to believe in their love story with their looks. They use their eyes. They use their their looks at each other that you truly believe when they're staring at each other. Even at the beginning where you're like, are they falling in love, or are they just really good actors with this? Because they play kind of actors playing actors.
Right, they're spies. They assume a character.
Exactly.
When they're out in the field.
And really, the side characters in this are fairly far and few between, but everything is, I would say, top of its game, really, when it comes to acting. I didn't find anything to be out of place at all when it comes to the acting.
Yeah, and mentioning the side characters, I feel like they could have cut out a few of them.
Yeah.
And maybe that would have trimmed down, a little bit of the first half and the pacing issues that I had with it. There's more in the silence than any kind of words that they could exchange, between the two leads. I felt it was similar to Drive. There's all these great moments of silence between Ryan Gosling and Carey Mulligan.
And that's all you need.
Yeah, just their looks, their acting, and their facial expressions. That's enough, and it makes you feel it with them.
Totally, it's less is more kind of thing. And
exactly.
There's also, once he's giving this briefing where it's like, your wife might be a German spy, I felt when he gets home, that tension, that feeling that something's off, even in the relationship, we've all been there. We're like, just something in the air doesn't feel right. And I feel like they conveyed that very well without, spouting off obvious lines.
You're
of dialogue.
acting weird. Why are you acting weird?
Yeah, like they're reading each other. This is what they do. They know how to read human beings. They know how to read people. And it's kind of like a battle of emotions a little bit. And I felt that tension.
And the execution of all this is left, to the very capable hands of Robert Zemeckis. I mean, one of our first reviews Nate and I did was actually The Walk, his movie from last year. And we talked about, our love of Robert Zemeckis. So what did you think about how he executed this? He's known for period pieces, and
he nailed it.
The 40s.
I mean, once again, I think just like Brad Pitt's performance, Robert Zemeckis played it fairly safe in this one as well. It didn't come across to me as a Robert Zemeckis movie. There are a lot of tight quarters in this movie. They're in a house a lot. They're in a small apartment a lot. They're in a small room a lot. And I think that's a little bit different for him, but I mean, he is a master of his craft. Robert Zemeckis is very, very good at directing films. I felt like also his use of mirrors. That was an ongoing theme in this film, and he used mirrors so well, and I think it really translates into this plot and to these people of who they really are.
Yeah, he basically used the mirrors as like the eyes in the back of their head when they're trying to watch him without watching.
Exactly.
Robert Zemeckis is a master of his craft, and I feel that I agree that his visual filmmaking is what he's more known for. He's more prominent, Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yeah, all those great movies and just great, visual memories. Just you remember these scenes, these moments, these shots, these images.
Yeah.
And that's just where I feel like this movie was a little bit lacking.
All right, so we gave you our thoughts on the film. Now it's time to put a number to it. What's your score, Dennis? What do you think?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I certainly have a few beefs with this movie, and my biggest beef is it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting more of like a suspenseful thriller, and what I got was a war love story with a suspenseful thriller at the end.
Yeah.
So having said that, it actually kind of reminds me of Contact.
Okay.
Another Robert Zemeckis movie. Just it wasn't what I expected.
Yeah.
What I got, I didn't dislike necessarily, but.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, I was just a little bit disappointed, so I don't think I can go any higher than a 6 for this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's well executed. It's just it wasn't what I was expecting, and my
my
gripes were enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I disagree. I think that this movie, I didn't know what to expect from this movie, but I went into it not blind. I saw the trailer, but I still knew that it was going to be a little subdued. But like, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really good, and I think it was one of my favorite movies I saw this year. I'm gonna go 8.
Oh, wow.
I really, really enjoyed Allied, and I would recommend it 100%.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our review of Allied. What'd you guys think? Why don't you go ahead and leave your comments down below. Next week, we'll be bringing you our review of the new biopic, Jackie, starring Natalie Portman.
Yep. Also, don't forget to look out on Wednesday for Dennis's next holiday installment, and that's going to be Home Alone, a classic. So, thanks for watching. But remember,
there's no place like the theater.
Hey there, Nate from Cinema Buffs. Did you like that video you just watched? Well, right here we have a couple videos we think you'll love. Also, if you click this icon right here, you can subscribe and become a Cinema Buff. You can catch all of our videos as they're released. So thanks again for watching. And remember, there's no place like the theater.